Ladies and gentlemen, droids of all ages, step right up and feast your ears on the most rebellious show this side of the Outer Rim. Welcome to From a Certain Point Askew, the only Star Wars podcast where the blasters are fake, but the emotional damage is very real. Tonight's main event, a high-flying, nerve-rattling, empire-defying deep dive into Andor, Season 1, Episodes 7 through 10. We've got prison breaks, Mon Mothma side-eyes, and the kind of political tension that makes the Senate budget hearing look like a pod race. So grab your kettle corn and blue milk, hold on to your comms, and prepare to be amazed, astounded, and just a little bit emotionally wrecked. Because the rebellion starts not with a bang, but with a podcast. This podcast. I'm Jason the Angry Ginger Jedi Guy, broadcasting inside this very own Wookiee Poo Studios. Matt is not with me. He's on the screen as always. He lives there. Darth Mathias, welcome to the show, and tell us what we're doing today.
Well, it's going to be a very, very focused show today. You don't even need to go through the what's in the show today bit because it's one thing.
Yeah.
That is just that we're going to be covering third arc of Andor Season 1, so episodes 7 through 10. A lot of fun stuff in there, so we'll get into that in a second. But if you'd like to find our show from acertainpointaskew.com, find us on Twitter and Threads and Blue Sky at FactPapod. We didn't get any emails, but granted, we just recorded 3 days ago, so nobody really knew we had a chance to email us.
No time. Yeah, we recorded 3 days ago, but did the episode go up today?
It just went up today, yeah.
Okay, all right. I was going to say, I saw the earlier, and I was like, I thought it went up the other day, but so I retweeted it.
Didn't post it till this morning. But then, and I was trying to get through these episodes to catch up.
Yeah.
Factpapod@gmail, and then you can leave us a voicemail, 678-322-7277. So, Andor, we're going to jump right into it.
All right.
Heaps of emotion in these episodes, I would say. We get the exchange with Marva and Cassian. We get Kino Loy's No Way Out speech, or One Way Out, not No Way Out. Great movie. Mm-hmm. One Way Out speech. You get the Luthen speech. Shit, the last two are in the same episode.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of fun stuff there. You also, this is the situation with your gal Mon is just building and building and building. She is she's quivering in every scene where she doesn't have to put a smiley face on.
No shit. I know we've talked about it before, but I love that fucking scene where she keeps reminding, what's his name?
Davo?
Her friend. Yeah. To smile.
Like Tay. Sorry. Tay is the one she tells to smile.
Yes.
Davo's
she owns that fucking scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
Then there's some good stuff. Fun stuff with Pear in there too as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's jump into it. Episode 7. We open again on a despondent Sryil sitting in a dark bedroom, fully dressed and staring out the window.
We've still never seen this fucker sleep.
I know. We don't know if he does.
I feel like that's the secret, is he doesn't know he's a droid.
I think you might be right. He's living in his own personal hell, and his mom
he is
just riding him at breakfast for his high-collared, shirt. That's when he hears the news of the Aldani attack, and he perks up. Like, oh, good. Now I don't have to talk to my mom.
Yeah, 1988 fucking tube TV.
Yeah, what the fuck's up? Why do we not have cool screens?
Well, what's funny is when you're watching that, when you see him get up out of I'm like, oh, they're not going to show the TV because we've never seen TV before. And I was wrong. They show the TV in the news report or whatever. But behind him, over his shoulder, is an iPad thing built into a wall with all the security survey, whatever, on the screen. And I was like, well, I guess they got both.
They got stuck with 1960s tube televisions, but everything else. Yeah.
It's old government housing.
Well, later we see him getting oriented at his new job that Uncle Harlow helped set up at the Bureau of Standards, which looks like really thrilling work. He's working on fuel purity.
Tony Gilroy and his set designers, boy, they found a way to make a cubicle job look worse, didn't they?
They did, because there's 9 billion cubicles.
Yeah. It's like Severance watched that and said, you know what? Let's do something different. 4 cubicles in a large room.
Right. Meanwhile, at ISB headquarters, Anakin's former mate, Admiral Yularen, is sharing his thoughts on the Aldani attack. By the way, we've confirmed that this is Yularen that is also the Yularen that's in the command room with Tarkin in A New Hope, right? It's the same guy.
I think there's only one Yularen.
I think
right?
So.
Yularen is... he does the intro to the Clone Wars.
The voice, the guy does the voice, yes.
Yep.
And it makes me laugh because I think... do those two run into each other in that scene or in other scenes in the Death Star? Because that was Anakin's homie. Anakin was always on his ship. Do they give a nod to each other ever and are like, "Hey, what's up, dude? Remember Clone Wars?"
It's me under this helmet.
Yeah, same guy. Sorta. Anyway, Yularen is laying down the law about how the Empire will respond to the attack. They're going to tax the fuck out of any system harboring.
Ooh, yeah,
partisan
5 times, right?
Yes. And I mean, which basically means they're going to tax everybody because they're just going to assume everybody's in on it.
Right, yeah.
He also says that the use of any custom or tradition to cover rebel activity will trigger permanent revocation of imperial tolerance. So no wonder they're going to crack down on Marva's funeral here in a minute.
Right.
He also mentions that Palps authorized the ISB to basically do whatever the hell they want, almost like emergency powers, to search and surveil and all those fun things. He also says that any criminal act with any indirect impact on the Empire, which is so vague, will be a Class 1 offense. And now, if only Cassian knew that, he wouldn't have, walked on that beach, I guess, to that mini market.
Well, and they say like everyone's prison terms, whatever they had got doubled. But when he is in court and she says this used to be a 6-month sentence, and she swipes the credit card machine and it becomes 6 years.
Well, and maybe that's because they're saying anybody who was actively on a sentence at the time doubled, but the charges themselves jumped way the fuck up.
Exponential.
Because the stuff he gets charged with is ridiculous. So we'll get to that in a minute. Dedra sees right through all this stuff. She's like, the Aldhani heist was not a robbery. This was an announcement by an organized rebellion.
Right.
She then goes and orders this report on all this missing Imperial equipment because that's how she's going to tie this shit all together. So then we see Luthen go to, Mon goes to return Perrin's gift.
Yeah, let's slow down. We're on the Mon stuff now.
Okay, we'll slow down. She goes to return the gift, but she's really doing it so that she can rail Luthen. Get it? Luthen rail. Yeah. Thank you very much.
He's here all week, ladies and gentlemen.
Tip of the cap. She is not happy with the Aldhani attack. She's basically like, he says to her, you knew this shit was coming. Don't get cold feet now.
Well, she's there like a fucking wet hen. Like, did you fucking do this? We didn't talk about this. We didn't want this. We didn't agree on this.
Right. And he's acting coy, like he didn't do it. He doesn't want to say yes. But then she realizes, oh, you did fucking do this.
Yeah.
And then we get this great line that kind of sums up Luthen's approach. When Mon says, people will suffer, and he says, that's the plan.
Yeah.
So
also, when he pulls out he's toying around, pretending he's showing her an artifact, he shows her that weapon again. Mm-hmm. And he says, has there ever been a weapon made that wasn't used?
Right.
That's how he dies.
With that weapon?
I believe so.
You think he dies with that particular weapon?
Yep.
Interesting.
Foreshadowing.
Somebody's gonna bludgeon him to death in the gallery with that. Oh wow,
yep.
I like that prediction. Remember to bring that up on the preview again, because we'll get to the deaths at that point. I was gonna play a fun game. We do the preview of will they die or will they live?
Dies. Yeah.
And then, and just goes everything Luthen's been saying so far. We got to do some nasty shit to poke the bear and make the Empire come down hard on us so that it inspires this rebellion.
Right.
So then we see, you were talking about that dinner party. Mon's having a chat with her old friend from Chandrilla, Tay Kolma. Maybe an old flame, it sounds like. Yeah,
we're not sure on that, or if that's just Perrin poking the bear, right?
He could be doing that.
Yeah.
He's a banker, and she's like, I need you to be the chairman of this new charitable organization or charitable program that she's starting. But she won't tell him what it's for his own
the song and dance, the conversation where he says, is this personal or political? Mm-hmm. She says political. Well, it's interesting because as they're having the conversation, he's talking to her about how her politics and his probably don't align.
Right.
But her politics are further progressed than his. And he kind of comes to he's like, oh, wait, she's on the other side of things. Or my side, but further.
He's right. He's thinking that because she is ingrained in this, imperial culture all the time, that he's maybe gone astray of her because he's more out there. And little does he realize she's helping organize a rebellion against the Empire. So she wants his help accessing her family funds because she's, raising money.
Right.
She also says that Perrin knows nothing and not to be trusted, which is you can take that statement and it's a blanket statement. He couldn't be trusted to fucking take the babysitter home after, at the end of the night, let alone be trusted with secrets around this rebellion. So just stay away from Perrin. And clearly Tay does not like Perrin.
Yeah. Well, there's the remark the second time Perrin's like, "Oh, you're still here? I thought you were leaving." I can't remember what the exact mark is, but Perrin was already walking away. What's he say? Something about feeding or
he says, "Good
you gotta
luck
feed your
feeding the galaxy" or something like
Yeah.
that. And
It
he said,
starts at home.
I'm gonna go feed myself."
Yeah.
And then Tay goes under his breath, "Charity starts at home." The
Yeah.
turnaround look on his face, like,
Right.
"You motherfucker."
Oh, I got the last one in, and boy, was it a good dig.
Parents probably like, both these two keep getting me with zingers. God
Right.
damn it.
Yeah.
I gotta up my game. And then we get this quick meeting that they show between Clea and Vel, where Clea tells her that, Andor's knowledge of Luthen's existence might be a problem. So if you could just go ahead and go meet with them. She's like, "You mean kill him? Hey."
Well, this is where we see a different version of Clea as well.
Yeah, clearly she's extremely protective of Luthen. I mean, obviously the cause, but she realizes he is the centerpiece of that cause. So, because later on, when we get down to like episode 10, I think it is, or something, when he's going to go meet with Lonnie, she's like, "Let me do it." She's real protective of him. Back on Ferrix, Cassian goes home and finds out, what he's missed out on. Which,
Since when do you lock the doors?
Yeah, I know. Why do we lock the
Can't
doors
even
now?
get in. Yeah.
It's not Mayberry, pal.
Right.
Basically, since he's gone, the Empire has kind of taken over, and shithead Tim died. That's kind of what he's come to find out.
Right.
He tells Marva he's got all these credits, and he can get the three of them out. I love how he says the three of us, and B2 goes, "Huh? B2?"
Yeah, yeah.
It's such a sweet dog. And kind of leave the mess behind. He wants to just get out of there. He's still in the mindset of just get away from it all. Like, fuck this. I don't want to be part of the cause. I just want to save our asses and get out of here. And Marva's like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do it tomorrow, though.
Right. Be a better day.
So he goes and sees Bix, and she tells him he needs to get the fuck out of there. Everybody blames him for bringing the heat to Ferrix. And he's like, "Dude, me?
Yeah. What, because I owe a couple of bucks?"
Because I owe a couple of bucks and also killed two guys and then stormed right back here and brought everybody.
I never admitted to that. That wasn't me. He's got to hold on to that.
He did not admit to that. It's true. And then we also see as he's making his way home, back to Marva's, he has this flashback to when Clem, his dad, got busted by the Empire despite just trying to calm people down. He got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then later you see in a flashback his fucking hanging body. I'm like, I forgot how brutal that scene was.
Yep.
So then Cassian goes back home, and oh man, what a heartbreaking scene this is. When he's talking to Marva and she's like, I'm not gonna go with you. He's trying to figure out why. And she said, "I'm done hiding. I want to stay and help the rebellion." Of course, part of him's like, "You out of your fucking mind?
Yeah.
What do you mean you're gonna help the rebellion? You're like an old woman who can't do shit anymore. You need to just relax." And she even says that the attack on Aldani inspired her, which he's like, "God damn it. I go for a cash grab and it fucks me."
No shit. Yeah, she says when people are going to do that and he can't admit to it.
Right.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
She also tells him to stop looking for his sister because there were no survivors on Kenari. Now, we talked about this before. I still think that that's a possible open thread. I don't know that they'll get to it, but I think she's just trying to help him, trying to move on, not just from her, but from her.
Right.
sister.
I think so. But wouldn't that be a hell of a surprise? Like one of the last episodes, like he runs in, like he figures out that's his sister, but he's got to go.
Right.
I'll be back after I do this mission, which is Rogue One, and he never comes back to her.
Yeah, that would be heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And it turns out that his sister is actually Leia. Back at ISB, we get another reaming by Portagaz of all people involved in the meeting. Then you get this. You get Luthen's man Lonnie getting ripped for his shit performance, apparently. And that's when Blevin goes on the attack. He's like, "I'm just going to nip this shit in the bud and go right after Dedra." And he's saying that she's, essentially skirting the rules to access data.
Right.
And kind of going, around authorization. And then when she explains she found this hard evidence that there was an orchestrated effort by the rebellion to steal Imperial technology, Portagaz is like, "Oh, well, this is interesting." He seems to take a liking to that. And he's like, "You know what? Morlana and Ferrix, by default, is now under your jurisdiction." And Blevin's like, "God damn it."
Maybe if more people went around and put the effort in.
Right. A little unorthodox.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so she gets promoted basically for going against the rules, which this fucking stuffy fuck was all thinking that's the only way to do it.
Right. He's playing by the rules the whole way.
Yep.
And then I like it because she stands up and stares at Blevin with this, like, "How's my ass taste?" look on her face.
Yeah, she does. Right.
And then that episode wraps up with Niamos, that crazy music coming in. And it's this beach community where Cassian, now going by Keith, just bangs some local and is heading to the mini mart to get Pizzos. Get Pizzos.
I like the red ones. You like the green ones.
And then some dudes go running by him on the shore, and the shore troopers are running after him. And he plays it cool, because at first I'm like, maybe just sit down and like let this blow through before you just keep walking.
He can't give a stormtrooper respect, though.
No, he can't. That's true.
Yeah.
It's not in his nature.
No.
So but he tries to kind of play cool. It seems like he gets away with it, and then he ends up getting detained by one of them, who I believe was Sam Witwer's the voice.
Is that I was wondering with the voice. I was like, this has got to be a voice we've heard before.
I think it's Sam Witwer who does it, and I just the exchange is just so funny. Why are you sweating? It's hot.
Yeah.
Where are you going? Why are you in such a hurry? I'm just going to the store. Like it's so great. And so then he ends up getting snagged by a K2 droid.
Yep.
And arrested.
He said hang. Isn't that like it's been a while since we watched Rogue One, but isn't that like one of K2SO's like personality flaws is he takes things literal, right?
Does he take things literally, or is he just so... That's a good question. I'm trying to remember now. I don't remember. Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah, real soon.
Because there's a lot of them in season 2. That scene where Sryil walks in that room, there's like 6 of them sitting there.
I know.
So we go to this court, I guess you'd call it, and he's charged with anti-imperial speech and attempted damage to imperial property, and that's like you said, sentenced to 6 years. He's like, 6 fucking years? You had your mind?
I know. And he didn't even get a chance to like, they don't get to lawyer up there. They don't get anything. They just go sit in front of, judge is just like swiping credit card. You're dead. You're done for, buddy.
What's the thing called? It's called the PORD or something. It's the something public order of something decree or something like that. It's essentially what this blanket law is.
The what do they call it? Because when they're in prison, they're like, "You've heard of it?" And he's like, "No, I haven't heard of that."
Yeah, it's like public order something decree, I think, something like that.
Yep.
Next episode, we open with him being assigned to a transport going to Narkina 5, which he's never heard of. And when they arrive, they're welcomed by a guard who shows them their how the enforcement works. He's like, "You wonder why we don't carry weapons? This is why."
Could you go more like pale white German Nazi than this guy?
They're leaning into it.
Yeah, all except for the fucking accent.
Right, yeah. The floor shocks the fuck out of them.
Oh.
But he's like, if you stay in line, you don't ever have to worry about it. But let me just give you a taste of what it's going to feel like so you're aware. I love the fact that when the reaction they have to to the floor turning on is very like 1960s Star Trek. Like when the ship would shake or something, they'd all try.
The way he's like in a half of a breakdance move.
So Cassian gets to see how regimented the place is, as he put into one of the rooms where he'll do work, and that's managed by Kino Loy. So we finally meet Andy Serkis. Right. God damn, he is good in the show.
He is.
And I forgot the gaming part of it, like that each table is going against each other,
right,
and then each room is going against the other rooms. So essentially, if you win, you get flavor in your oatmeal.
Right.
And if you lose, you have to stand in the middle of the room while everybody watches you get shocked.
Electric. Oh my God, man.
And by the way, Kino says he competes against other rooms. Are we to assume that he gets electrocuted if his room doesn't?
Yeah, I don't know how that works out, because he doesn't really say other than he's in charge of everyone. But there's got to be a discipline for him as well, right? He says I'm competing
against other rooms, but I don't know.
Right.
I guess we never follow up on that. So you would assume that he's been shocked before from losing, which is why he's driving those people so hard. Cassian, or Keith, is assigned to table 5, and that's where we meet Melshi, who we'll see in Rogue One later, and also in season 2, among others. And Cassian realizes that they're just building some sort of widget over and over and over. We don't know what it is, which is so fucking great that we get this whole thing where they're building this stupid piece, and then we come to find out at the very, very end of the show, of the season, what it is.
I remember when we recorded this the first time, the 3 of us, back when Cole was with the show, we thought like it was like nothing at first, right? Like they built it, and then the cart went to another room, and they were just disassembling it. Like it was just like this thing to keep them busy.
Yeah, I think that was just, what's funny? I don't think Cole was on that show. I think Cole left after Kenobi. I don't think he was with us. I don't think he was with us for Andor. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong. I apologize to Cole if he was still with us, but I'm pretty sure. And by the way, he is very much alive when I say he's not still with us anymore.
Yeah. He's alive.
Haven't got any emails from him lately.
Yeah.
That's right. So Cassian learns about the new cell block, like the sleeping conditions. Not great, Bob. you basically just have this cold little space where you get to sleep. You get, it's very prison-like.
You're almost in see-through fucking pajamas, right? Mm-hmm. And no blanket.
No.
Like nothing.
Bare feet.
Your plate sticks to the fucking wall. Like,
right.
Does it
clean itself?
Sanitize itself? Like what is this? Like,
I was wondering that too, if they clean it, because they don't clean off that plate. They just fucking shove it against the wall.
Yep.
It's not a good setup.
As much food as you want, though.
Exactly. As much food and water as you want. But like I said, flavorless oatmeal. It's what it seems to be. And you stay off the floor. Step on that floor, you're gonna fry yourself.
I know. Right.
Don't. How like he goes? You sleepwalk?
That's such a great question. It doesn't really give an answer.
No. And then, like you said, they're asking him about the public order, and he has no idea what they're talking about. But he's got a big number to work off, which we realize the number is literally on the screen there. So you're staring at that fucking thing all day or all night. So essentially, these prisoners are just like hamsters on a wheel. Very little reward. Mm-hmm. Really, it's more just the reward is not being punished. It's a pretty fucking miserable existence. I forgot that the shit was so bad that one dude just stepped out and killed himself.
I know. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Which seems like that probably has happened enough. But the exchange by everybody in the background. Who was it? Was it that guy? Table 2? Blah,
right.
Blah. They're all going.
Yeah.
So back on Coruscant, someone hasn't been doing their fuel purity duties. They've been fucking around looking for Cassian Andor all day in their cubicle. Yeah. And they get busted. So Sryil, he puts on his best seatbelt tie and goes and gets interrogated by Dedra.
Yep.
She wonders why he's after Cassian, and he claims, Andor is a threat to the Empire, and he's trying to clear his name and all this stuff. So she then goes on, and she's kind of like, this guy's a little bit of a nut, but he might have some information to need. So let's just let him sit tight.
Never have I watched two sociopaths fall in love before like these two.
Well, he says creepy shit later. It gets worse.
Yeah, he does.
She then goes and presents her case to the ISB and really to Yularen, who seems almost bored, if not skeptical, that she needs all sorts of resources to target Ferrix in an effort to find Cassian and find this dude Axis. She's labeling Luthen as Axis.
Yes.
Doesn't know who he is exactly. And then she goes back to talk to Sryil to get more details that was in the report that was filed
This is when he's read the report finally. Yep.
Yep. And he can't really provide much. He's like, dark boots.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It was a purple or green cloak.
Green cloak. And she just starts rolling her eyes like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You're of no use to me.
Mm-hmm.
So he can't provide much, but he keeps telling her, I could be a great asset to you. He's really trying to put himself out there. Well, and by the way, going back to our why are we so quick to call Sryil a fascist thing from last week from Max's email, he does utter the words, can one be too aggressive in preserving order? That's a little bit of a red flag.
Right. Yeah. This boy is all in.
Oh, and one other thing, I don't think I realized the first time around that the other guy in the room, not Dedra's assistant, but the other guy on her team, is the guy we later see on Ferrix. That's like snooping around, looking at
Oh, right.
Marvin
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
His name's Corv. I guess I didn't think about it at the time. His name is Corv, and he's just he's gonna get his from Cinta in the end.
Yep.
So then another social gathering for your gal Mon.
I know. At first, like, they go back to that scene, and I'm like, are they still fucking partying? I was like, wait, she's in another outfit.
Different party.
Yeah, I was like, because this might be a fuck up because there's been days gone by.
Well, and you realize the animosity between her and her daughter because she's at work all day, and then she's got these fucking events she's going to all the time. So she's probably, I mean, if we're being legit, she's probably not the greatest mom.
Yeah.
As much as her daughter's horrible.
She definitely cares, but she just... she doesn't have a really good work-life balance.
No, and I think there's probably the I don't know, the idea in her head of my daughter is well cared for and has everything she needs. These other poor people out there are struggling. But her daughter, from her daughter's perspective, she's like, well, it's nice that you care about all these other people. Hello, I'm fucking here in your house.
What about me,
Yeah, right.
I came out your clam and you just don't pay attention to me.
Wow.
Hey, she said it. I'm just rephrasing it. Yeah, yeah.
Did she say? Was that in a deleted scene?
Yeah, I saw that in the bonus episode.
It's called the clam scene.
Right. It's the same when they cut the Empire. They decided to take the clam out as well.
Oh my god. I would love all the cutting room floor stuff. So Tay shows up again. He's back, and they're going to discuss her options. And this is where you get the quip that you were talking about, the Charity starts at home.
Oh, yeah.
So fucking funny.
He's like, excuse me.
Yeah. Well, he has these looks on his face of like, do I respond? It's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So then Taze explained to her that there's these Imperial auditors in play now, and moving money is going to be a pain in the arse. So that sets the tone for that. Back on Ferrix, Marva's getting sicker, and she's still sneaking around, trying to help the rebellion. What was she doing? She was trying to open some door up to see if you could get underneath the hotel.
Yeah, which you can. It ends up being used later, but yeah.
Yes.
It was something that the sisters of Ferrix used to use or something, right?
Yeah, daughters.
Like, the daughters of Ferrix. Yeah, because she's aware of it. And yeah, so this is her, like, this is what she's going to put into their little rebellion to get back at them in the hotel.
Well, and when you get a bit older and you're ill, you need things to keep you going. And this is her thing. Bix and Brasso are trying to look after her since Cassian's gone. And then we also get to see that Vel and Cinta are in town.
Yep.
And they're watching Marva's place. And Cinta's all business while Vel's like, I have needs.
I know. She's speaking of Clam. I mean,
oh, God.
Like, and Cinta wanted nothing to do with it, right?
Then Bix tries to send a message. Fucking dummy. Tries to send a message to Luthen. I mean, the Empire is everywhere. And you think,
don't they, like when she's captured, don't they like, you were up there for an hour?
Yes.
Beep, 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 beep. Yeah.
Yeah, for an hour doing that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So she's trying to send a message to Luthen about Cassian and his ill mother. And that's when Clea gets the message. He's like, I think we should shut this shit down.
Yeah.
A little too late because the Empire was monitoring that shit and they saw that Bix was sending the message.
Well, they didn't see it. They got the information from what's his face?
Pac?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so they take him in because it's the radio's at his place.
Right.
They chase down Bix later, but they don't know where Pac went. Like Wilmon is like, I don't know where my dad is. So they chase down Bix, bring her into the hotel, and that's where we see what happened to Pac. Mm-hmm. He has been brutally tortured.
I love how she's they're coming in and he's like, do you want me to remove him? She says, no, I want her to see him when she comes in. And then immediately she's like, what are you doing? Get him out of here.
Yeah, right. I love how she plays that.
Yeah. You told me to leave him here.
It's very much like an interrogation room scene where they're going back and forth. It's like that scene in LA Confidential when he keeps going from room to room and pitting the people against each other. Dedra, says, why don't you take a seat?
I don't want to sit in that chair.
No.
I know.
The only other thing we got on this episode was we did get the scene with Luthen paying a visit to Saw on Segra Milo.
Oh, right. Yep.
And he's trying to get Saw to meet with Anto Krieger, the name we'll hear so many times over the course of the next few episodes, and never see him actually in live action. We do see that hollow of him at some point.
Yeah.
But he wants him to provide air support for him on Spellhouse for this raid that he's going to do. And this is just, Luthen sending a message that the factions have to work together to get shit done. Again, you gotta poke the bear here because oppression breeds rebellion. That's what we're trying to do here. So we're trying to get this shit going. Saab basically says, "Well, what do you say? I'm the only one with clarity of purpose." He's totally comfortable with what he's doing, but he doesn't want to play with other people.
I just sitting in the cold in this fucking cave.
Right.
Like the conversation between these two is just dig after dig. After they're trying to feel out who did the Aldani mission.
Yeah, the way they start out going back and forth, going, "That's what I would expect you to say." Well, that's what I expect you to say. So go to episode 9.
Have you noticed, though, we still really, we get the idea that Luthen is the center of all of this, right? He's trying to put the pieces together. He's trying to get the players to work together, but it doesn't, Saul calls him out on it. He's like, what do you do? Like, who are you?
Yes.
And Luthen's really good at, beating around the bush.
He is, and I think because he knows how to give just enough information to people, to keep people motivated and to keep people involved,
right?
But not too much. And I do like the fact that he says, who are you exactly? He says, I'm a coward, and you're like, okay. Then he goes, because I'm afraid that the Empire's power is going to grow beyond our ability to stop them.
Yeah.
Back on Ferrix, Dedra is grilling Bix, not with the device yet, just questioning her. And that's when she introduces her to creepy Dr. Gorst. Oh, hello.
I know. Fucking hey. Just another day at the office.
Fucking creep.
Happy to come in on my day off.
Right, exactly. So she is like, why don't you just tell us? Why don't you stop? Don't waste our time. Because we'll get it out of you with the torture. Just tell us now. And then we don't have to waste our time. And you can preserve your brain.
How can she become redeemable? I just don't see it, right?
I don't either.
Yeah.
She's doing some horrible shit.
Yes, and she doesn't seem to care.
No, and she wants to employ any method she can. So she's not, she doesn't care about There's no like fighting the good fight for the Empire. I just think the Empire's the good people and we're just doing what we have to do for that. It's much more like I will do any dirty means necessary to get my shit done because she's ambitious. She just wants to fucking win.
Well, I mean, Binks even calls her out. She's like, look, if I give you this information, you're not going to believe me anyways. And she's like, you're right. And then hands it over to the doctor.
Right. Yeah, because she's trying to find out info about the buyer, which is what she's calling her, Axis.
Mm-hmm.
And about Cassian, and she's like, I want to know about every piece of equipment you've ever sold and where it is. Wow. Yeah. Do we have records of that? One thing I didn't recall, at least the first time around, was that she talks about, Dedra talks about Pac having that meeting with a woman at a separatist gathering where she gives him the radio and pays him to keep it up and running. And I'm assuming that's either Clea or Vel. Did you hear that part?
Yeah, because she says once Bix was introduced, like Luthen was basically handed over to her.
Correct.
And
he never dealt with Pac again.
Right. So you're like, well, that's were they looking to get, like, was that the goal?
Maybe just separation.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe that's part of it. But I assume it was either Clea that went or Vel, one of the two of them, gave him that radio.
Right.
I do remember the torture being like a mental abuse situation, but I couldn't remember exactly what the cause was of it. And then they get into that, which is essentially the death shrieks of children of some planet that the Empire took over to take over their,
specific species does something that they never. It's a certain noise, right? And then she says that the three people that were recording it for proof of to the higher ups in the Empire, they were all found like cowering under the bridge.
Right. So they thought, oh, well, this will be effective then.
Right. Yeah.
We can use this for other things. Not this is horrible and let's not let's get rid of it.
Who's the twisted fuck that, because she's like, well, was it him? The doctor was like, well, we synthesized it a little bit and found this one part. So someone's in there editing this shit.
And how did they not go nuts?
Right.
Or maybe they did.
Oh man.
There's a job you could assign Sryil up for.
Yeah, really. That's what he goes to bed to. That's his noises.
It's his workout music. Pop the AirPods in.
Oh man, it's his romantic remix tape that he makes for Deirdre.
Here's my mixtape.
Yeah.
Mixed in with some other like random sounds, like fucking Chewbacca screams and stuff in there too. So they essentially do this torture for several rounds on Bix. She's just fried. They toss her on a mattress in the room, and Dedra's like, let's keep her around because she can identify the buyer. Captain Tico, I forgot about this part. He goes, can I hang Pac? I really want to.
Yeah. Let him know who's boss around here.
Christ. And I like the fact that she's like, oh, sure, I don't care. Cool. Go do it. So she has no heart.
No, she doesn't.
And no morals. So I don't think she's redeemable.
Well, I think that she just thinks if they're not part of the Empire, they're scum, right? They're beneath us, so it doesn't matter what we do to them anyways.
Yeah, I think you're right. Back at ISB headquarters, Dedra shares a possible link of Cassian to Aldhani, which gets Portagaz's attention. He's like, oh. Basically her case is strengthening and she's feeling pretty good about herself. Every scene ends with her like kind of with this smirk like, I'm doing it.
This show wouldn't exist without me.
Hey, right. I'm the driver here.
Right.
Later I'm going to fucking get promoted. She's just thinking about promotions. Later they capture a rebel pilot who's working with Anto Krieger. He shares the plan pretty quickly. They do the torture device on him. The doctor again gets involved.
Yep.
He gives up the fact that there's this plan to do this raid on Spellhouse.
I like there's a whole galaxy, but there's one doctor with a fucking mixtape that they got to send out to all these planets to torture people.
He's a specialist. He's wanted. They never short on work.
No.
It made me think too of a little bit of is it the Mandalorian, the mind flayer thing that happens to Dr. Pershing.
Yeah.
Well, obviously different, but mental torture. Then they also mentioned that the pilot was on his way to Kafrene, which is where we open on Rogue One. That's the rings of Kafrene or whatever. That's where we first see Cassian walking down that street.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little reference there. So then later on, we see Sryil talking to his mom again. He tells her, hey, I've been promoted. That just cuts the legs out of her fucking disdain for him. She's like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
She's so fucking
Uncle Harlow is going to be so proud of you.
Every scene with her, I can like smell the old lady perfume. I could. That scent.
It smells like citronella and some kind of fucking raid.
Yeah, with a slight hint of mothballs.
Mm-hmm.
Sryil then surprises Dedra at ISB headquarters. Now this is where it gets creepy.
Right.
Not that it wasn't before, but he is just making her skin crawl. And then he tells her, quote, "Being in your presence, I realized that life is worth living." Dude, coming on a little
and
too
something
strong.
about being beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
This just sounds a lot like a guy who doesn't know how to talk to girls.
Well, yeah, but like she's completely like shutting it down. But at the same time, as the conversation goes, she admits that she cleared his record. It was her that did it. When at first she's like, "Well, I had nothing to do with it. I don't know what you're talking about." And then she says, "Oh, she did do it." And, she goes to walk away. He grabs her arm. And then it's secret love.
I mean, you got to put yourself out there, I guess. Maybe it's a little too forward, but
I mean, it's fucking creepy. But like, can you see anybody else? Is there like another person in the galaxy that could actually get her attention other than the way that it's done?
I don't think so.
Right.
I think she puts up this veneer and then she goes home and she's like, I don't know, maybe something could happen there. I am a little lonely.
Where's he been my whole life? Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't even have a pet.
No.
Like, oh man,
she's
got
all about her
probably
job.
3 shirts in the closet. She's got nothing on the walls.
And she sees a guy who's driven, so she kind of respects that a little bit.
Right. And I mean, who can turn down a guy with a seatbelt for a tie?
Exactly. Just you pull it down, it just goes zoop, right back up. Back to Mon. She is in the Senate sharing her opposition to the public order decree from Palps. And let's just say the response is not warm, would you say?
Yeah, everyone's like turning off their dome lights, man.
I know. Does that mean they don't support her? I'm not listening to you. Click.
It's like C-SPAN. What was that? I was listening to a podcast recently and they were talking something about politics and they were talking about how, was it Bernie Sanders or someone's like sleeping? Like,
it's almost in the chamber.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing. Like no one wants to listen to her. There's whatever. I'm surprised there are that many people there.
I know. And there's so many fucking pods.
Right.
I mean, that system is so huge. It's ridiculous. And they're probably just like, God damn it. Why does she get to speak every week?
She's always filibustering.
Right. She gets back home and Vel showed up. Mon's trying to, share her concerns about Luthen and the plan, but Vel shuts her down. She's like, look, you took a vow, woman. Get with the program.
Yeah. Well, she's basically repeating what Cinta says to her.
But she does, yeah. It's that whole, what is it? The rebellion takes priority and we take what's left or whatever.
Yes.
That phrase is. So she stays for dinner and you can tell there's a lot of snarkiness back and forth with her and Perrin, where he's like, you found a man yet?
Yeah, and Mon fucking loves it.
Oh, she loves it. It's I think the only joy she's had at home lately.
Yep. Does it like basically Perrin calls her, you're gonna have to find a widow at the age that you are,
right?
And she's like fucking what, 35?
I mean, at most.
Yeah. Do you know who that is? Have you watched Game of Thrones?
No, I know. I heard she was in that, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So if you haven't seen it, you won't know what the character is.
Mm-mm. I feel like that's what happens all the time with Star Wars shows. It's like, oh, that person was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of crossover.
Huge cast. He says something else to her that she just snaps back at him on it. You could tell there's a history of her being like, I don't fucking respect you 1 ounce. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
She leaves the next day for Chandrilla. I believe it's the next day. Well, that's what she tells Mon. We assume she's probably not going to go back to Chandrilla. She's going to go somewhere else. And then Tay tells Mon that in order to avoid detection for her $400,000 credit move,
right,
that she needs Chandril and Banker who can loan her the money to cover it. I love how she's like, cut through the shit. You have somebody in mind. He's like,
right.
Yeah, so it's Davos Skolden. She winces like you just did because he's this gangster. And he's like, he wants a meeting. She's like, fuck. That meeting, we'll get into it next episode. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All while this is happening, on Narkina 5, Cassian's working with, other prisoners to kind of concoct an escape plan.
Boy, he doesn't waste any fucking time, does he?
Well, I mean, you don't know how long it is because, it went from 0 shifts to 30 pretty quick. So
yeah,
it was over the course of about a month that he was doing this, probably.
Yeah, he's already got a file in the bathroom. Like, he's...
He does.
Like, man, dude.
I mean, and how many times has he gone in there and done... Because by the time he has to go in there and actually bust that thing open, it doesn't look like he's made that much progress on the thing.
Right. And he never takes a piss. So
No.
he's just in there filing. So what's he do? I bet you, like, do you think you could, like, what? Oh, they have a toilet. Never mind. I was going to say, what do you do? Just piss on the red hot floor in the middle of the
night? That'll short it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he just holds it. He just says, I got to piss. I was going to ask if they got breaks because it's a 12-hour shift.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they do. I think they just walk away from the table and do what they got to do. But then that slows up the team.
It's terrible work. Terrible job.
Right.
They're taking inventory of all the procedures. They're like watching how things work. They know what happens when a guy leaves and a new guy comes in and all that kind of stuff. Trying to kind of figure out what's the window. How many guards are there? How are they moving up and down the lift? How are they doing this, that, and the other? Getting all that information. All the while, poor Olaf, this poor guy,
man,
who's clearly been there for a while, and he is showing signs of dementia. It's not good. When they're waiting for the shift change after that day, he looks like he's about to pass out at that point. But they start picking up word that something happened on floor 2. They don't know what it is. They're doing all the sign language, trying to figure it out. Kino is like, guys, I have very few days left. Don't fuck this up for me.
Have we already, by this time, do they already have that power outage?
No, that happens
okay,
next. That happens later.
Okay, all right.
This is just them communicating that something happened. And maybe it is in that same scene. Maybe that power outage happens during that scene. I think you might be right.
Yeah.
I think it happens after they kind of get a little bit of information. Cassian's trying to pick Kino's brain like, look, essentially you've given up and fuck off, but can you tell me some things here? Can you tell me a little bit about this, that, and the other? And Kino's like, I'm not telling you shit, man. I got 217 days left or shifts left.
And he like rolls over in the fetal position. I'm done talking to you.
I like it clicks off the light.
Right.
If only there was a curtain he could pull. And then, or maybe it was this time when because during another shift change, that's when we find out that both the shifts of the room on level 2 were fried. 100 men dead.
Right.
And they don't know why, but it's starting to get Kino's attention because he's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And this is where Circus really turns it on. Later, after that shift, because that was them going in, after that shift, Olaf just is taking a turn for the worse. Collapses. They're kind of bringing him through the, whatever that is, the bridge, the shift change bridge. And they call in the doctor and he realizes, oh, he's had a huge stroke. Like he's basically brain dead.
Fucking euthanizes him right there.
Yeah, puts him down with that injection. He says he won't feel a thing, but he kind of goes like, it's like, I maybe felt something.
Yeah, yeah.
So when Kino presses the doctor for info on what happened on level 2, he says, well, the prison fucked up and they put a recently released person from 4 back on 2 and everybody found out and they're like, we just got to kill them all.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Can't let this get out, but it got out.
Oh my God.
But I think that's what the surge was, right?
Yes, that was the surge.
Yeah.
Because everybody goes, what the hell was that? They don't understand what happened. So yeah, they realize at this point, nobody's ever leaving. Yep. We're all here for good.
You're just going to get moved from one floor to the next.
Right. Finally, Kino's on board, because Cassian at this point asked him, this is the end of the episode, how many guards are on the level? He said never more than 12. So he clearly is ready to go. So then episode 10, we open on Narkina again where, they're taking Olaf's body out and Cassian is just hammering Kino about the need to launch the plan. Like, we got to get this shit going. We don't have time. When they replace Olaf, it's go time. Yep. And as they make their way back to their bunks, Cassian shares what they heard from the doctor, and Kino finally snaps and confirms, we're never being let go. And then the next morning, he's like, we're basically dead. We don't even bother counting shifts anymore. It's like, we got to do this shit.
Yep.
Back at ISB, just a quick note, we learned that Krieger took the bait on that dead rebel pilot plan that Dedra, put together. So they're going to walk right into this trap on Spellhouse. And then you go to Ferrex, where Marva has stopped taking her pills. That's the first sign that we're about near the end here.
Yeah.
That's when we see both Cinta still monitoring it. She got that apartment next door.
Yep.
Corv, the guy from Dedra's crew, both staking it out, keeping an eye on things.
And she notices him, right?
I don't think she notices him. Does she notice him? I thought she was just watching Marva's place. You think she saw him?
I think maybe she hasn't noticed him yet.
No.
Because there is...
She does eventually pick up on the fact that he's Sneaky Snake. Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. Because she does her thing.
Right. She's very good. Now back to Mon's pad. This is where Davo pays a visit. And he was going to come discuss some business.
Oh, you mean luxury Willem Dafoe?
He was in something else. What was he in? I think he was in The Diplomat, but I was trying to remember which character he was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a great show.
Is The Diplomat, is that the Kerry Russell show?
Yes. Have you seen it?
Is it good?
It's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, I would recommend it.
All right.
It's really well acted. The whole conversation, just watching Mon feels so dirty. Like she was like, I can't wait to go take a shower. I feel so dirty even talking to this fucking guy.
Yep.
She is so uncomfortable being in his presence.
But this guy's had this conversation before because he's, sorry to say it, it's calm as a clam.
I am not naming this episode The Clam, if that's what you're after. He is cool as a cucumber, you might say. He is very comfortable with this conversation. And he is like, I've got a solution for your money issues. He says a drop of discomfort may be the price of doing business. Because she's like, I want to pay you.
Boy, he walks her into this conversation, though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because she's like, I want to pay you. I don't want to owe you anything. He's
right.
like, well, I don't need money.
Yeah, I've got plenty of that.
He wants to come back down the line and bring his son to meet Lita. The look on her face when that reality hit, she's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. I love how this show writes to where they're not telling you, they don't come out and say it. It's just the way they're having the conversation. You know what they're saying. Right. It's so fucking brilliant. And she catches it's their tradition, right? Yeah. So she knows right away. She'd rather give him probably all of her family fortune than marry her daughter off to this, scum's fucking little son.
Even though her daughter hates her.
Right.
Yeah, so she is not comfortable with this, and she shuts that shit down real quick, but he's like, I think you're thinking about it, essentially. I'll be back.
That's the first time you've lied all night or something, he says to her.
Yeah, right.
He's like, well, think about it. She's like, I will not think about it. And that's how
he's like, I think you will.
Yep. She doesn't have a choice, though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she's totally stuck. It's her only option.
What an awful feeling to have to be into a position where the only way because what does she do? I mean, her family's fucked. She'll probably go to jail, prison, whatever. But like the family, everything, the fortune is hers, right?
Right.
They'll take everything.
Right.
If she doesn't figure out a way to cover up this 400,000 credit move.
Yeah, it's the perfect example of like, I don't know, it's almost like telling a lie and having to keep telling lies over and over and over on top of lies to cover for the other ones. It's just this thing keeps getting further away from her control. At first, it felt like she could do it on the sly and just be the backer, but publicly just be somebody who's fighting the good fight. Whereas now she's like, I'm so in deep in this shit, it's hitting me from every angle. I'm kind of fucked.
Have you started reading the book yet?
No, I haven't yet.
The Mask of Fear.
I've heard it lines up very well with the show.
Yeah. It's not as intriguing. It's very political. It moves a little slower. But yeah, like the events that they do a really good job of like showing you like how this stuff is going to lead into what becomes Andor. It's good. Yeah.
I don't know if I'll have time to read it before then, but I do have the book. I do own the book.
Okay.
That's all that matters. You just have to own it.
That's all that matters.
It has to be on your shelf.
Sleep on it. See if you just absorb it.
There you go. Osmosis. Yeah. Back on Narkina 5, it's go time. And that's when he busts open the water pipe in the bathroom and water spills out all over the work floor. And then as the guards are bringing
Comes
down...
out looking like Ace Ventura.
Yeah. Don't go in there.
Not go in there.
They start bringing down the new guy. And what a first day for the new guy.
Oh, yeah.
You walk right into a prison riot.
Oh, shit.
Unfortunately, you don't get to survive because you get capped. But he jumps right into the mix like, fuck yes. He probes that, or he sticks that guy with his shocker. Andor jams the lift. And they start chucking. I love they're just chucking parts at those guys.
Yeah. Fucking Kino just chucks a wrench. If you watch that shot, it fucking hits that dude right in the head, man. Just goes and cuts right when it hits him.
So they eventually fight their way out of the room and then just slowly start taking over all the other rooms and telling people, like, come on, we got the place. Cassian and Kino go up to the command center where the voice behind the all-powerful Oz is operating. They have them shut down all the power, all the hydropower to the facility. Mm-hmm. I like how he's like, but it'll take forever to get it back going again. Gun to the head. I don't give a fuck, man.
Right.
So then this is time for Kino's big speech, it's so good. It's like this spine-tingling moment watching them all charge out and then getting to this realization, though, from Kino when he sees the high dive and the swim that he's got ahead of him. And it's so fun. It's funny because he delivers the line. It's so gut-wrenching, but also hilarious because he's literally like, I can't swim. Yeah. He's like whispering it.
But he had to have known. Like, he knew he was going to his death. Yeah. I mean, he flew in on the ship. He saw that they're fucked.
It would have been great if he walked to the edge and went, where are the boats?
Yeah.
Where's the ship? Fuck. I like how Cassian's still trying to talk to him and just gets drilled by a dude.
Yes. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? You can't swim out there. Oh.
So then again, like I said, you get this great speech from Kino and immediately followed by the Luthen speech back to back. So, because this is Bo Willimon, right? Who did this arc, and he's the one working with Levy. So
Correct.
on his movie, right? Oh, fuck. Probably the best, maybe outside of Marva's, I would say the best speech of the series.
Oh yeah.
It's so good and so tight. Lonnie goes into the Coruscant underworld and meets up with Luthen, and he's warning him about Dedra. He's like, look, there's this woman Dedra. She's looking into Axis, which is he knows is him. She's linking Axis to what happened on Aldhani. He also mentions how Krieger's walking into a trap, and that's when Luthen's like, well, sacrifices have to be made.
50 men aren't worth what you are.
You're right. Yeah, and he keeps buttering him up. It is very much, and we probably talked about this at the time. It's very much like a kind of spy work where you're trying to turn somebody and you're pumping them up and telling them how important they are and how great they are.
Yeah.
I think about you all the time.
And he's gonna quit. He wants to go work at the family, whatever. He's like, no, as all the buttering up comes down to, sorry, we put too much into you. You're keeping your job.
Yeah, what does he say? He says like, even as you say it, it's impossible or something.
Yeah,
yeah. Because he's had a daughter. He wants to get out of this game.
Yep. But do you buy Luthen saying you're a hero? Like I don't think he's.
I think he's telling him what he needs to hear.
Well, see, I think so, but I also think Luthen isn't lying where you need these people, and what he's doing is rather heroic.
It is, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. Maybe he does see him that way, or does he just see him as a pawn, and he put him in a situation where he couldn't get out of?
Well, I think both.
You know what I mean? Are you heroic when you take the bait, but then now you're just essentially fucked? Because
that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to discredit Lonnie and what he's doing. He's doing a great job.
You think he's going to go home and be like, well, you know what? I'm not going to take the family job because I am a hero.
Right. I don't think that's going to sell it. I think it's the fact that you're going to get screwed if you don't. Because you're in the palm of his hands,
Yeah.
And so this is where Lonnie says, everyone's sacrificing something. And when Luthen, like you said, tells him, you can't leave, dude. This is it. He says, that's when he asks, what do you sacrifice? Oh, and I'm so glad you asked, Lonnie.
Yeah. Pulls out a piece of paper.
Excuse me. Yeah. Gets his readers out. So he delivers that speech, which I could watch over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And then the episode wraps up. The last shot we see is Melshi and Cassian on the shore running away. You can see the Imperial crafts in the background searching for prisoners and stuff like that. And they're on the run. And that's where we're going to pick up in episode 11, I believe, because that's when we see those crazy fishermen.
Yes, that you forgot about.
I forgot about them. So next week we'll get into episodes 11 and 12. We were going to try to have a guest on. I think that's going to work, so we'll have them on later. But yeah, it'll be fun to go through and wrap this up because those last two episodes are fucking bangers, especially that last one. Then we'll do our season 2 preview and do some predictions and give away details of our next giveaway. And then I guess, just start watching the new season. We're 3 weeks from the new season.
Man, it's coming fast. I keep seeing there's a Twitter account that counts it down every day.
Yeah. So excited and sad because it's going to be over so fast.
Yeah, because we only
get a month.
We have a month of it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's our whole show today. We did all of it was just focused on this. Maybe by the time we record, I'm sure we will. By the time we record next week, we'll have a little bit more news to share and some things to do. And I'll do a question of the week. I just didn't have time to do one in between these 2 episodes.
How dare you?
I'm sorry. At least you wrote a fucking intro this time.
Yeah. I sure did. So we'll be back next week with more Andor. So thank you so much for listening. See you next time.
Wrap it up, fuzzballs.
We've spoken.